Gateway Gamers podcast.
Hi, welcome to the Gateway Gamers podcast. I'm Bryan.
And I'm RP.
And this is a podcast where a veteran like me introduces the world of gaming to a noob.
Like me.
All right, welcome. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, man. Just came back from a trip. That was a lot of fun.
I'll say, you look nice and tan.
Yeah, I do. I think it's the color of my shirt helps bring it out a little bit compared to how producer Audra looks. But what's going on with you?
Nothing at all. Everything's been great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You want me to talk a little bit about my trip?
Absolutely. I almost got sucked into the IP hype immediately.
Yeah, immediately, man. Well, first off, before the trip, our last episode was Villainous. And guess who owns 4 copies of Villainous now? I do.
Yeah. Not 4 copies, but you bought the base game.
I bought the base game, the Marvel one, and then 2 expansions, which one of them is an expansion that we did on a mini episode that you'll hear whenever you hear it. So we'll just start off with that. I love that game so much. I hope we did justice to it in the episode, but that game, I just even just to put it on my shelf, like you've seen on our Instagram, we've posted it. It is beautiful. It's a nice display. You've warped my mind, Bryan.
Welcome to the addiction
of
board gaming.
And I'm like seeing there's 2 more expansions that I like. One was on sale, one wasn't. I was like, should I get it? And then there's a Marvel expansion coming out. I'm like, it's bad.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah, welcome to my fiance, producer Audra. Not thrilled, but we've come to an agreement where she doesn't say anything. Yeah, it's a tax write-off, I guess. It's a business expense.
Yeah, I texted her, apologized because I knew this was gonna happen because you texted me the one day, and you were just like, oh, like one of the expansions is on sale, and I was like, yeah, that happens like a lot, and you were like, should I get it? And I was like, well, I own it, and we game day, so no, and then 10 minutes later, you're like, oh, I ended up buying it.
Yeah,
and then you got the Marvel one, and
I've played it on my own.
Yeah, you found the solo version.
I did. It's definitely different. We haven't really played the Marvel one at all. I don't think we've ever even thought about it.
We just haven't,
because we've only done the Disney one. So I broke it out, and it was a new gameplay for me, and it was good. It definitely, the mechanics of that are different, so I can't wait to talk about that on an episode. But yeah, so anyway, we were just on a trip in Universal Studios, Orlando. We had a great time, me and producer Audra. And we went, the main reason I talk about, there's 3 IPs that I absolutely love. It's Marvel, it's Disney, and it's Harry Potter. So that's the main reason why we went to Universal Studios. I've been a few times. Audra hasn't been there in a few years, so she had never seen Diagon Alley, and I wanted to go back to ride the new Hagrid's ride, which absolutely incredible. One of the best theme park rides I've ever been on.
Wow.
That and Rise of the Resistance in Disney for Star Wars. That's the best ride I've ever been on. This is probably the best ride in Universal.
Okay.
My favorite Harry Potter ride still probably Forbidden Journey for a bunch of reasons. Like, I wish I had a theme park podcast because I could just keep going and going. And we also did Jurassic Park, the new Velocicoaster, which doesn't open officially till June 10th, but we were able to. I bring this trip up because the IP hooks almost got me. There was a Quidditch board game that looked pretty legit, right?
Yeah. No, it looked, so it's a park exclusive. Which I thought was neat. That's where I almost was like, yeah, get it. Do it. But I was like, all right, let me look this up. So I looked it up, and it didn't have much to it in like rate or reviews. Like, not many people were talking about it. And it was $40. So that's where I was like, you know what? Like, maybe not.
It had that theme park surge price of additional. And there was an expansion, too.
Yeah.
So people must buy it and play it if there's an expansion. But I couldn't justify the $40 for that, where I'd rather spend that money elsewhere in the park.
But that's where we talked about before, the IP hook.
Yeah.
Gets you.
Prior to this podcast, probably never even would have looked at the board game. But then I'm like, my mind's all going with board games, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. Obviously, I bought already a couple games on my own. The setup was pretty cool. If you've seen the Harry Potter movies, it was the Quidditch Stadium in Hogwarts. They had the like the stands, and then they had the 3 goalposts. And I didn't really look into it. You probably looked into it a little bit more.
Wooden, like I don't know, like little
the
wooden pieces.
Yeah,
like
it looked like a checkerboard.
Yeah, the production looked nice, like it did. And if you would have got it, we would have reviewed it, and we would have been fine with it. I feel like it didn't look like it was a chintzy grab, but it definitely was for $40. It didn't look like $40. You're definitely paying for.
It looked like to be honest, it looked like a game that would probably be played in the Wizarding World. It was kind of, like I said, the stadium, and then kind of like boring pieces on the table where it kind of fits that old school vibe of the Wizarding World. I also looked up replayability, and I don't think it was high from reviewers. But yeah, it wouldn't have been worth it. You said, if you would have said, yeah, get this game, I would have gotten it.
Yeah, well, I immediately looked it up.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, oh, like I never heard of it. So I was like, that's neat. And the box did look nice. Like you said, it looked like it fit in like whatever aesthetic Harry Potter universe that it was in.
I mean, that is like the best part about Universal is that Wizarding World. Everything fits. Like nothing feels out of place. And it was funny, you know, it's different now that it's been open for a while, but it was first opened. Somebody, like one of the team members was like a cashier, and somebody handed the money, and they were like, oh, I'll never get used to how your money doesn't move, and stuff like that. Like, it's cool.
Yeah.
That aspect of things definitely step back. Like, the guy serving us butterbeer was just talking about where he was from, and where that's not how it used to be.
They hired muggles. That's all.
Yeah, they hired muggles,
more muggles,
which is that is the premise of the park, is that this is the day where they're letting muggles into the Wizarding World. But yeah, it was cool. It had me. But I think I'd rather spend my money on other Harry Potter games that I've seen that are, you know, from USopoly and things like that. But it was a cool little thing that I never would have noticed before until this podcast.
Yeah, and it was like I said, it was the hook almost got you. It was literally we talked about last week where I can't say if it was a good game or not because it's just that IP. It just makes me nervous. That's just like, I don't know if they're just trying to grab it. It's the $40 price tag was what I think what stopped me from telling you to get it. Yeah. If it was like 20, I would have been like, here, I'll Venmo you 20, get it.
Right.
But 40, I was like,
like I said, Villainous has a steep price tag for the most part, which is steep is coming from me in terms of like $30 to $40.
Yeah.
Which some people that might be cheap, but just for me and entering this world, and that's a little pricey for me.
Yeah.
So to see there was the level of detail in the board and the setup, but the pieces were a little bland for me. That it would not justify that. And how often would I play?
Yeah, it didn't look like a game that would.
No. I wouldn't be like, oh my God, I went to the Wizarding World and this is what I brought back. You know, that's not what I'm going to do. But I'd rather spend that money on 5 or 6 butterbeers, and it's just amazing. The butterbeers, which I'm so excited. They're opening up a Harry Potter store in New York. They're going to be serving the theme park butterbeer,
which is exciting.
The soda is whatever. The soda is very light in terms of like a normal soda, so you can drink it a lot. You cannot replicate the foam at home. I've looked up many ways that the foam makes the drink. You just can't. Nobody seems to have cracked the at-home recipe, or it's super expensive if you want to get all the ingredients to do it at home. But that's what I'm super excited about. So maybe that game will probably be there too. So if we change our mind, we'll see. But they also had Wizard's Chess there, which I used to have growing up.
And that's just chess, right?
I didn't know how to play chess. I played checkers with it with my grandmom.
But that's what I mean. It's just essentially reskin chess set. Okay, that's
with the pieces.
It's nice looking.
Yeah. So it was a great time.
Sounds fun.
Yeah,
I've never been there, so.
Oh, you've never been to Universal? I know your wife has
I've been to Universal, but I haven't been there since the Harry Potter stuff has opened up. Yeah, my wife has gone a couple times.
Well, I was saying to your wife, when Oliver gets his acceptance letter, we'll have to go. We'll have to go back to Hogwarts.
I mean, I'm a Disney person, so I would go Disney. Before,
I am too. Yeah. I 100% am. I prefer Disney theme parks. There's much more to do. You could do all of Universal in 2 to 3 days. Disney, you're there for a week. You don't do everything. The rides are more adult-centered in Universal because there's a more like thrill ride. But the overall experience, if it wasn't for Harry Potter, I would never go to Universal. That's just what it is.
Yeah.
They have done Harry Potter perfectly. Better. It's better than... as much as I like Batu, and as much as I hate Avatar, but the Avatar theme park in Animal Kingdom, as much as I like that and the detailing, nothing beats the immersiveness and the Wizarding World, the design of the Wizarding World of Harry Potter and Universal Studios. But that being said, you're talking getting your money's worth. Disney's probably the better option for sure. I think it's enough theme park.
Yeah,
talk.
I was going to say, welcome to the Gateway Games podcast. We are.
I'm sorry. I ramble because I can sit here. My favorite podcast is a theme park podcast. I have a couple, but there's one podcast to ride if you're interested. That's what I listen to all the time. So I'm always, and I don't really have anybody. If I get the opportunity, I ramble.
No, please. Like I said, I never been there, so I don't know. But so one of the things I did want to talk about though, when I looked up the game, I looked up Board Game Geek. So that's something I've mentioned on the last 3 episodes, but haven't really talked about it. So if you're not a gamer, you're just like, what's this guy talking about? So BoardGameGeek.com is a website it's probably the most collective board game website ever. Like, it has every game, it has rankings, it gives away awards, it has forums. If you're ever looking at a game in a store, you go on there, look it up. It has reviews, who made it, other people talking about it. If you ever buy one of these games and you don't know the rules, look it up on there. And there's forums, and most likely someone else has had that question.
So the 2 things. That is where I got the solo rules for Villainous, and then also on our last podcast, I teased a potential IP game.
That's right.
It was this Magic Kingdom Park game from 2004. It's kind of hard to find, but I looked it up on Board Game Geek, and it had like a 5 rating, and I was like, never mind, it's not worth it.
Children's game, yeah.
So that, like, example, that it may not always work, but it's a good way to go to if you want to get a rating on a game, or hey, is this worth the buy?
Yeah, and they have videos. They have usually they have links to YouTube. So if, like we mentioned last episode, if you're a more visual learner and need to see someone play, they link up every YouTube review or how to play on Board Game Geek. So that's just, if you hear me mention Board Game Geek or BGG for short, that's what I'm talking about. And I recommend it. Like, it's just, like I said, you're ever in Target or there's a game we're talking about on here, just look it up on there, and there's people upload pictures, give reviews. It's
useful.
It's probably the most comprehensive board game website.
It's like a Wikipedia kind of for board games.
Yeah, and they have a top 10 of the hotness, it's called.
Oh, so do they? I didn't know they did that.
So if a lot of people are talking about it, it'll be like in their top 10.
Is one of their top 10 like hot games one of the one that you just bought?
Yeah, so we started this podcast with the intention of burning through my collection. Since we started, I've bought, I think, 10 more. So I actually just went to the friendly local game shop near my house. I forget the name of it. By the end of the episode, I'll shout it out, or we'll just edit it in. And I went in there with the intentions of getting a Parks expansion.
Oh, okay.
To my friendly local game shop in the hopes of getting the expansion for Parks, because I just want to support friendly local game stores and over Amazon or anything. And that was my goal, to go in there, buy this, I think it's $20 expansion. So we talked about Target being, quote unquote, like the mecca for board games. I think you mentioned that last episode, and I kind of laughed.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing.
Well, for me.
Yes.
For me, it is.
Yeah. So compared to an actual game store.
Really?
Yes.
Next time you go in, you should take a picture so we can post it on our
like
page.
I said, we'll shout it out, and I'll definitely put them on the Instagram.
Really?
Oh, overload. I just...
Really?
Yeah, like I've been to other ones, but the one up near me is really nice. And I'm blanking on the name. It's bothering me. But we will shout them out. And so I walked out with 4 games.
Did you get the expansion?
I did. I
Okay.
I got the expansion. I got a game called Silver and Gold, which is a little card game, which I haven't played yet, but I heard good things. I bought an expansion for Dixit, which is a game that I love that we haven't talked about yet. And then I bought Wingspan, which is $60. So,
which even if it's the same price on Amazon too, so it's not like you could have saved some money, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
They're comparable, yeah.
And rather that money go to that.
I'd rather, the local game
Absolutely.
shop. Friendly local game shop.
Right.
So, yeah, a lot of the games I've been getting lately are the hotness. So, I used to be a very IP-driven gamer, but lately I'm with Everdell, Parks, and now Wingspan. They're the hotness. They're definitely in the top 20. I think Wingspan won awards, like the Spiel des Jahres, which I talked about with Tick to Ride. I think that was a winner last year. Parks, I'm sure, is getting all kinds of accolades.
Yeah.
And then Everdell, because they're three of the most beautiful games I've ever seen. Like, they truly are amazing, and I definitely will talk about them. I'll bring them and introduce you once I kind of have mastered them a bit more.
Yeah.
But
hey, I'm looking forward to it.
So I looked up immediately some game shops around here that we can go to, and you can
I would love
buy
that.
more.
I think there's one right up the street.
There is, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so
that's
the hotness on Board Game Geek. I'm
sucked in. The hooks.
Again, it's I wanted to play with the games I have. I'm just buying so many more.
Your wife's probably thrilled.
Oh, she is. She absolutely, every Amazon box that comes in.
What did you get, Brian?
Yeah. Well,
she got you the Everdell
she got me the
and
Everdell and Parks. So I'll
That's
give
her
it to her.
fault.
She is, she's feeding into it. But the trick is I also order like something for my son.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like formula and a game. So I'm like, it's formula, no problem. And I'll shake it, like, here, rolling around. And then I'll run and throw the game away.
Yeah.
Nah.
Well, cool. All right. Do you want to get into our game?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Are you ready? Drum rolled up.
Okay. All right.
All
right. So it is Pokemon Battle Academy. So I have seen this game when you've brought it over for our game days, but we've never even cracked it open once.
Yeah. So for as long as we've been friends, we never really talked about it. What's your history or familiarity with Pokemon?
With Pokemon?
Yeah.
So I liked it growing up. I was definitely, when it came to the cards, Yu-Gi-Oh! I was a Yu-Gi-Oh kid. I even had like the Yu-Gi-Oh thing that sat on your wrist and played. Me and my neighbor would play that. We never really played Pokemon.
Okay.
But Pokemon Stadium, one of the best games I've ever played growing up on N64. My neighbor had it. I never owned an N64. That is like the one thing in my life that I wish I could change, because N64 had some great games. But I love the Pokemon Blue, Red, Yellow for the Game Boy.
So you have familiarity.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I'm super
we never
familiar.
talked about it, so I wasn't sure.
And I like the cartoon.
Okay.
I did watch the cartoon growing up. Out of like the main 5 Pokemon, I did download Pokemon Go when it came out because that was the big thing.
Everyone did.
Out of like the 5 or 6 main Pokemon, I probably can't name you any.
Okay.
But I've played a lot of the games, so I'm very familiar with the IP.
So you fell off though.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
yeah.
so you don't know there's like 997 Pokemon now.
Nope, as far as I know, there's only Charizard, Bulbasaur, and Pikachu, and Snorlax, and I'm blanking on Squirtle.
Okay.
I love
Yeah,
Squirtle.
you say you named like 6 out of 900.
Squirtle.
Not bad, yeah. I personally love Pokemon. I think I was in 6th grade when it came out. So I was the perfect age. Game Boy, the original giant block Game Boy with the cartridges. I've played every Pokemon game that they've come out with. Every generation of Game Boy, every generation, I've gotten every one. I still own a lot of them. I've collected the Pokemon cards since they came out. I've never played the game. I don't know why. It just, I'm sure you did too.
I feel I had a little binder where Yu-Gi-Oh! I actually played. Pokemon I never did.
Yeah, I still have a lot of my old Pokemon cards, and I still have a giant collection, but I just, for some reason, I don't know. Like, when we were younger...
I think a lot of it was just about collecting. There's a lot of aesthetic to Pokemon that I really enjoyed. The Pokeball, Ash Ketchum's hat I had. Like I was into it when I was younger, but I don't really remember anything.
Yeah. So,
which we're on it's the anniversary, correct?
Yeah, so I just want to give a lot of feedback about this game, because I was going to save this game for later, because I wanted to do almost like a trading card month, or like a theme an episode, but right now this is huge in the news. So I'm like, you know what? Let's bust this out. I never played it. It could be interesting for both of us to kind of learn. And with everything going on. So, as you said, we're in a 25th anniversary of Pokemon.
Holy crap.
Yeah. So, it's been around for 25 years. Again, it's insane.
And it is kind of crazy for a cartoon card game.
like
kind
fad.
of anything to stay around for 25 years. I mean, I don't remember the last time they had a cartoon on Saturdays, but that IP has thrived. I feel like it did hit a little lull, but it's come back stronger than ever, and they remade the movie and
where
everything.
I could definitely say there was a point where I was like, oh, I don't like Pokemon. It's because I got too cool.
Yeah,
I was like, that's too cool.
Yeah.
Now I'm like, I love Pokemon. I don't care. And I feel like there was a generational divot where that kind of happened, where people who were younger, who grew up with it, were like, all right, I'm in college now.
Yeah.
I'm not playing Pokemon anymore. And now, I think since Pokemon Go's come out, it's had a huge resurgence. And also with the 25th anniversary, this year has been huge for them. So a trading card game or like a collectible card game, how that works is with the games that we played, you buy the box, and what's in there is kind of what's in there. With a trading card or collectible card game, you buy packs of cards. So there'll be 15 cards in a pack, and you don't know what's inside. So that's part of the allure of buying these type of games, and there's always usually like one rare or like shiny card. So that's why people buy these packs, because you don't know what's inside. You're trying to get that good card. And then with this game is you buy those packs and you build a deck of like energy and items, and you fight other people. So it's a game where you create a deck, and that's part of the allure of these type of games and why they last so long, is because they're money makers. So they're constantly pumping out.
It's like
it's cyclical. They're constantly making like more and more.
It's more so about the add-ons than the actual game. I'm sure the game is not too expensive, maybe like $20 to $25.
Yeah, so this box is like a starter box. It's like I got it for $20, and it's 3 decks of cards, and it's literally a starter pack. So it has instructions of how to play the packs for someone who's never played. So with the Pokemon IP, right now it's huge again because during the pandemic, Twitch and YouTubers have been buying up Pokemon cards and just like opening, like unboxing videos, but opening. So they'll hold it in front of the camera and like show the cards, and people are watching this. I don't
understand.
But it's
the world of Twitch and streaming is over my head. I'm not a YouTube video guy. Recently, I have with some of the theme park stuff, but that never appealed to me. But it does to a lot of people.
Yeah, so it's like
which is awesome. It's cool to see things kind of researched.
Yeah. So and then during the pandemic, Logan Paul.
Yeah.
Okay, is apparently a famous YouTuber. I know the name, but I don't know him. And he live streamed an opening of a base box. So a base box is, I think it goes for like $100, and it has like multiple packs, like, it's just like a box you kind of buy, and it just has like a lot in there of Pokemon stuff, like sleeves and everything. So he bought a base box, which was the original base first set, which never opened, is worth money. It's worth a good amount of money. I think they said it's $200,000.
Holy!
Yeah.
For this game?
No.
Oh, just Pokemon.
So a Pokemon trading card game base box of the original 1997.
Holy cow!
Yeah, because it's almost.
It's age. Yeah.
It's rarity. Yeah. Everyone's opened them. Like at that time, people didn't think they were worth money, so they weren't saving them. But somebody had the foresight to save it. So supposedly Logan Paul bought this $200,000 box and opened it on his streaming.
Wow. So
he opened the box, took out the packs of cards that were inside, sold each pack of card unopened, $11,000 each. Yeah.
Holy crap.
Because...
And that's like 10 cards a pack?
15.
Oh my gosh.
Because you're chasing...
You're
chasing Charizard. In that pack could be a Charizard card, because a Charizard card graded could go for like $226,000. Just the card. In my notes, I have Rapper Logic.
Yeah.
Okay. During the pandemic, he purchased a PSA graded Perfect 10, which means like a perfect,
pristine.
Like not scratched, not dirty, not whatever.
Condition,
perfect condition. First edition Charizard card for $226,000.
Holy crap.
So while this
What do you do with that?
Display? You display it, yeah.
Where do you display a Pokemon card? It's small. It's not even like you like put it...
Well, in the grade, it comes like sealed and like in a nice plastic.
Whatever.
Again, if you care.
Yeah.
But all this is like, it's all the perfect storm. We got 25th anniversary. We got the Rapper Logic. We have Logan Paul. We have Twitch. all this is going on during the pandemic where people are bored, stuff to do,
Yep.
stuff to collect,
Yeah,
stuff to
absolutely.
buy. So Pokemon's blowing up. McDonald's runs a promotion for Pokemon cards and their Happy Meals. People are going in,
Oh yeah.
buying as many as they can get to flip, to sell in the aftermarket. People are going in, regular kids are going in McDonald's trying to get Pokemon cards sold out.
Yeah. Wow.
Because people are going in and be like, can I buy
5 packs.
not even 5? I'm talking hundreds of packs.
Holy crap.
I was going on Facebook Marketplace at the time, and people had like boxes. Like they went in and they had the McDonald's given box of Pokemon cards that had probably like 100 packs, if not more. So they're probably going in and be like, oh, give me that box. Boom,
That's
boom.
crazy.
And then they were able to flip it because people are Jones, and for some reason, like it was the perfect storm for Pokemon. Cereal boxes, certain General Mills cereals had Pokemon packs inside of them. And I showed you the picture that I found on Twitter of a CD case lock on the cereal with a sensor because people were stealing, opening these boxes up and taking the Pokemon cards out.
Holy
Like,
crap.
Yes.
Holy
So
crap.
they were putting these boxes away because people were like,
See, it's funny. I knew nothing
yes.
about
so
this.
like I said, all this last year, it's been a perfect storm.
Wow.
For Pokemon.
How about that?
It gets crazier. So
Oh gosh.
the PSA card grading company stopped services. So you can mail in a card and they
No
would
grade
grade
it.
it and send it back. They stopped. They
Huh.
we're not doing Pokemon anymore. So in 2020, they said they had over like 1 million Pokemon cards that were graded. They said from January to March, they were looking to quadruple that amount of grades.
Holy crap.
In just those 3 months, they went, this is bad. Like they knew the trend was going to continue. So they went, we're not grading them anymore. Like this, we're putting a halt. We're done. Target recently, 2-3 weeks ago, stopped selling Pokemon cards. Just stopped. They said we're not doing it anymore because it became dangerous, because people were going on, like, if they stocked Pokemon cards on like Wednesday mornings, people were in line and the guy would be like taking it out of the box, put on a shelf, and they were like ripping out the hand. They were harassing the people. Employees were buying the Pokemon cards before they were getting put out, and people were rioting because they are trying to get this stuff. And it stinks because it's, I want to say, mostly flippers who are trying to make a profit, trying to flip it. They're ruining it for people that just want to collect and just want to play. So
it's the same thing with kind of everything.
Yeah,
The PlayStation, I know a lot of theme park people go in and buy in bulk and resell. It sucks. I hate that flippers. People make a living out of flipping.
But it's people that buy it too. Like I want a PS5, but I'm not going to buy one on the aftermarket. I'll wait because I'm not going to support that. But so that's what's going on. That's why I want to bring this game.
Yeah, wow,
now,
that's incredible. That's incredible.
A lot happening this year's.
No idea.
Yeah,
no idea.
Yeah, so they had a big resurgent 5 years ago with Pokemon Go, as you mentioned, but not like this.
So I have a question about the grading. So if they're not doing it, is anybody grading the
I'm
cards?
sure there's other companies. I don't know the whole grading system,
because that gives it.
I know PSA is like one of the bigger ones, so I don't know if maybe other companies are kind of doing it, but I mean that's probably the top tiered. What does comic books have? I forget the company that does that as well. They have a grading system. Yeah, I mean that's what's going on in the world of Pokemon. It's insanity. Like it really is. Like for something that's been around
crazy.
for 25 years.
That's wild.
So let me give you a rundown of this box, because this box is perfect for if you want to play with a kid. If you have a kid who's interested in Pokemon, you don't know anything about it, you don't have to run out and fight these scalpers and shoot somebody to get cards, because this has 3 pre-built, ready to go packs.
Okay, good.
Yeah, we're not building anything today. I didn't build these.
Okay.
They're as is.
They're just as is.
Yep. So, like I said, Trading Card came around 1996. This box came out in 2020. Says 2 players, ages 6 and up, which I'm not sure. It's a lot of reading, so I don't know if 6 and up would be accurate. But if you have a decent enough reader, or you can
YouTube,
or carry their hands through the game, like I think 6 would be good. It takes about 20 minutes. Published by Wizard of the Coast and the Pokemon International Company. MSRP's for about $20. It's called a deck construction and card drafting game. So like I said, if you wanted to build decks, that's kind of what that is. You're constructing your own deck. We don't have to with this game. and it was designed by Takumi Akabane and Tsuneka Ishihara.
Good
I'm
pronunciation.
I'm hoping I didn't butcher them, but I always like to give recognition to the designers and
So
artists.
you want to do our back of the box segment?
Yeah, I'm curious if there is anything on the back of the box. There sure is.
Back of the box!
Back of the box. Join the Pokemon trainers at the Battle Academy. Prepare for a Pokemon battle with the ready-to-play Pokemon trading card Battle Academy. The Battle Academy includes everything 2 players need to play, with guides to their deck so your first game is easy to follow. You can choose Charizard or Pikachu to lead your team in a heads-up battle against another trainer, then switch up the decks to play Mewtwo against Charizard or Pikachu, and lead a different team of Pokemon into the arena. With a little strategy, a little luck, you can battle with the best. It's funny because I never read the back of the box as anything until you started mentioning that.
Oh, it's a nice little synopsis.
Because in episode 1, you're like, read the back, Ticket to Ride. And it has like a whole story. I didn't know there was a story to Ticket to Ride. I was like, oh, there's actually a purpose to this game.
Yeah.
It's not just building trains.
Sometimes.
So, yeah, it's a fun little segment. But you ready to go try this out?
You want to go play?
Yeah, absolutely.
All
right, see you soon. All right, and we're back. So what you think?
Dude, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was gonna like it, to be honest with you, but I did.
Yeah, I mean, I liked it. I can't say I loved it.
No, it's a trading card game. It's easy. We played 3 times.
Yeah, so I think the presentation's perfect for what it is. For $20, this is you learning how to play. I think was fantastic.
Yeah.
Both of our decks came with books. As long as you didn't shuffle the decks, it literally says, like, these are your top, 15 cards, and it gives you a step-by-step. So you would take your turn, it told you what to do. I would take my turn, told me what to do for, 3 rounds. And then we were on our own. And by that, we knew what we were doing. We're like, yeah, we get it.
Yeah, we never knew how to play. We never knew how to play before, and we picked up on it super quick. It wasn't challenging. It was fun.
Yeah.
And we were able to, kind of hit the ground running, honestly, with it.
I think me playing Magic for years, because I played Magic the Gathering, which is a similar trading card game. They started around the same time. I had an idea of the mechanics, what to do. It's not like you said, it's not an overly complicated game. It's just you draw 7 cards to start. You have a base Pokemon. You play on your bench or inactive play.
Yeah.
And then you have a bench you could put more basic Pokemon on. I don't know.
We started off, the game comes with a Pikachu deck and a Charizard deck. And I was the Pikachu deck, and you were the Charizard deck. And like I said, it's something I had no interest in. Absolutely no interest in.
Yeah.
I'm not really a trading card game kind of person. But this was super easy to learn and fun, and to the point where I wanted to increase the reward, kind of how you determine somebody wins basically is a card, which we'll get into that. But I wanted to increase that on our second round. I was like, you want to move it up to 5 instead of 4? And because I was enjoying it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we'll get into it. I don't know if you want to go over the rules.
Yeah, so like I said, so basic round of the game is you start with 7 cards in your hand, and if you're not familiar with Pokemon, they evolve, and so they're basically creatures that evolve into better creatures that are stronger. So in your hand, you could have a basic Pikachu. Everyone kind of has Pikachu. So you have Pikachu. His evolved form is a Raichu. So you play Pikachu, and then any time you can evolve him into Raichu.
And for those that don't know the Pokemon as well, like I don't, it shows you in the top corner, it'll say this is stage, the basic version of Pikachu will be in the top corner, so oh, okay, I can evolve Pikachu with this card, and it's easier to follow. And
because
same with all the other Pokemon.
Yeah, if you're not familiar with Pokemon, or you don't know all 900, you don't realize that this is a evolved form, because they don't look alike all the time.
No,
they look dramatically different sometimes. So, and then you can also attach an energy card. So in the Pikachu deck, all the energy was yellow electric energy. In RP's was all...
Yeah, it was all yellow.
Yeah, you had the electric, that's right. We swapped. We did swap. So if I kind of mix up, it's because we exchanged decks on the second game. So yeah, so in Charmanders, it's all red fire energy, and Pikachu's it's all yellow electric energy. You attach those to the cards by just like kind of putting them underneath, and on the card itself, it has how many energy you need to attack. So it'll just be like 1 energy to scratch,
and it's
for 10 damage.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the top right hand corner of the card, it'll be your health. So you'll be like 80 health. It would take 8 scratches to knock them out. But the more energy you attach,
I ran into that.
Yeah, so I wore you down.
Yeah.
But the more energy you attach, there could be better attacks. And then you can also attach energy, and then when they evolve, they have even better attacks.
Yep.
So
and all different sort of. Some of them have ways you can get additional damage, things that you can only do once. There was a lot of. I don't want to say a lot. There was differences between each card that made them feel different, and kind of set goals for yourself to be like, okay, let me get to this. And it's a mental game. You got to manipulate the board the best way you can to give yourself the advantage, so like on the third game, out of the gate, I had like 2 Pokemon. So I played the one, low health, low damage, like low...
A basic Pokemon.
Basic Pokemon, low health, low attack. So I kind of just wore down Bryan's Pokemon because these were just the cards I was dealt, and kind of it had that feeling of kind of from the get-go you can sometimes tell if you're going to be fighting an uphill battle or if you're going to be kind of in the lead with it. And I ended up losing, but it did come close. And like I said, I wore down his guy and he switched him out.
Well, then I evolved him. So I also had a basic Pokemon with like 60 health.
Yeah.
And you add him to like 40 damage, and you were like, all right, 2 more turns, I can knock this guy out as long as I don't do anything with him. And I wasn't. I was attaching energy to my benched Pokemon.
Which I knew what you were doing.
Yeah.
I was like, I know he's leaving this lamb to slaughter, but there's nothing else I can do.
Yeah, so then I evolved him, and his health went up to like 120. So it was just, he was just there tanking damage. So the only problem with that is if you did knock him out, you draw one of your prize cards. So your prize cards are four cards you put aside at the beginning of the game face down. Whenever you knock someone's Pokemon out, you draw one of those prize cards. I think that's an interesting mechanic.
It's also an easy way to keep track of your standing in the game.
Yeah, but I also think it's a really neat mechanic because if you're somebody who builds a deck and you put like one really strong Pokemon in there, that Pokemon could be in that prize deck. You might not be able to draw him.
Yeah.
So it's a neat randomizer to kind of maybe knock out a strong card. But
in a way can be an advantage or level the playing field in a way, for sure.
Yeah, I thought that was a neat mechanic I haven't seen before in like these types of games, because I needed a certain card and I kept drawing and I would play cards that would make me draw more and I wasn't getting it. And I thought maybe I was like, oh, it might be in this prize deck. Let me stop worrying about that.
Yeah, there were other cards. So I believe Bryan went through it, but if he didn't, it's you draw a card, you can attach a card, evolve a Pokemon, and then the last thing you do is attack, and it's the end of your turn. But there's also a lot of specialty cards, right?
They're like trainer cards.
Trainer
cards or item cards, they're called.
Which allows you to draw 3, draw 6, reshuffle your deck. Like little advantages. Swap Pokemon, which I found to be helpful the one turn that I won. And things of that nature that added a little oomph to the game. Because you need it. You can't just be like, all right, play, die. You need some oomph.
You need like a bit of swinginess.
Yeah.
Because you kind of saw once the second game I brought out what's called a GX Pokemon, and this is like...
And I knew
that was
I was dead, because at this point, he brought out his GX Pokemon, and I had Charizard out, finally, but not the GX version of Charizard. And I was like, oh, cool. I was like, I thought I was going to win because we were tied.
Yeah, you brought out Charizard, who's one of the big bads, but he got spanked pretty easily.
He got spanked because there's a lot of, yes, this might be a high-powered attack, but then there's another flip side to it where, okay, you can't attack next turn, or...
it costs you energy.
It costs me energy, so then I can't do anything. It's interesting. It really, you have to think, and you have to be kind of methodical with it in a way like chess. Like, you have to think about your your third and fourth move while you're doing your first and
Yeah,
second.
you definitely have to. You have to think to what your opponent is going to do. Because at one point you evolved into Charmeleon, and I went, okay, he probably has Charizard. I know Charizard's a problem, so I started building toward when he would come out. And the one Pokemon I had, his damage does more if he evolves that turn and then attacks. So normal damage would be like 60. If I evolved him and then tacked him in the same turn, it would do 90. So that was just a little bit of extra oomph to knock Charizard down a few pegs. However, Charizard did one attack and killed me immediately.
Yeah.
So it's like I was able to hit him, but then took the damage. The GX Pokemon, I think, are interesting as well. I don't know what GX means. I don't know what that is, but it's just
It seemed like another.
they're a souped up version.
Yeah, because there's a GX Charizard that I didn't get, but you got the GX Raichu, which is Pikachu leveled up.
Yeah, so they have an.
I would have been curious to see what Charizard's difference was.
Yeah, they have an insane amount of health. All their attacks do an insane amount. And they have one like super attack. So the one super attack I had did like 200 damage, but I can only do it once per game, which is neat. But then his other attack was still 120.
Yeah,
which is insane. Like
there's not many between the things we played. There's not many Pokemon with health over like 110, 120. Like my Charizard was 160, and I got one use out of him, and he was dead. Because of, I mean, obviously you had your powerful one, but there's the one electric Pokemon, the Electrive, which his attack, which you need 4 energy for, was 170. But then you can't use them next turn, so whatever.
Yeah, so I guess
there's checks and balances.
There's ways to do things, but I think, and then the other advantage of the GX or disadvantage is, if he managed to defeat it, you draw 2 prize cards. So it is like, all right, you managed to take out this giant. Here's 2 prize cards, which is the health essentially. But I don't know a lot about the game, but I know not all the GXs are like evolved Pokemon. So there are like base GX cards.
Okay.
So you could just play it right out of your hand without having to evolve. Yeah. So I mean,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So we'll just go by this box. I think the gameplay's good. I think the price point, $20, what you get, fantastic.
Yeah.
If you want to learn how to play Pokemon.
Because it comes with, I don't know, 40 cards?
Each deck probably has
It's the thickness
40.
of a deck of cards.
Yeah.
So, I think it was at 52 pickup.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine 60 per deck.
Yeah, it's a hefty amount. Yeah. It's not chintzy or cheap at all. So for $20, when I saw it, I thought that was cool. What did you think of the artwork, though? Because this is the thing we always do talk about, is the artwork.
I mean,
is this standard Pokemon, or was it a little different?
No, it's standard. It is like I don't know 100% because I'm not familiar with Pokemon, like currently the Pokemon cards, but I'm pretty sure these are reprinted cards.
You actually mentioned that while we were playing, because there's a little Charizard in the bottom
like
corner.
Like an emblem that represents that's from this set.
And you think that's so people can't use this in like a normal battle?
Like tournament? Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, and I don't know how the whole tournament scene works with Pokemon, but yeah, I mean, I'd imagine these are all reprinted for this game, but I don't know 100%.
Are there any expansions
for this? And I mean,
just like going and doing your own.
Yeah, just doing your own thing would be the expansion.
I didn't know if there was like a Squirtle starter deck.
As far as I know, this is a one-off. They've never done. They always have like starter sets, which just has like a deck of cards. They've never done anything like this, which is why I was interested. I was like, oh, this is cool. It comes with a really nice board. The board breaks everything down for you. It shows you where the health is, where the attack is, where like it gives a little grid that says like this is what you do in a turn. And I think that was really nice. I was like, all right, if I ever do decide to get into,
you can use this.
I could use the board,
and you can use it to teach someone.
Mm-hmm.
We learned this game, so quick.
Yeah,
having never played before, absolutely.
Yeah. I think everything about this is nice. I don't know if I would ever build my own deck and like play. I don't want to say never, but I have no interest. Like I thought the game was fine, but I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
I already thought that. I was like, this could be bad, but
Yeah.
it does scratch that itch. Like if you have, okay, let me break out let me break out the game, and I'll play for a little bit today, and I got that itch scratched.
Yeah, it's 3 decks. I mean, even if I do want to build 2 more decks, I could throw them in that box, and then one day just be like, hey, RP, like you want to play this Pokemon game? I added 2 more decks.
Yeah. So
but I think the problem with that is though. It's the same reason I had with Magic is just like people that worship the game or like research the game can build an engine that you're just like, well, this thing's even fun.
Yep.
Like, all right, you have 8 GXs in your deck and I can't do anything. Like,
yeah, somebody could definitely engineer a deck that takes away the fun of the game.
Yeah.
And the fun of the game was I was actually invested and super disappointed when I lost.
And we were on an even playing field.
Yeah. When I lost on that third, because that was a grind. That third game was a grind. And it was just like deflating the tires out of a car. That's how I felt. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
But it was fun.
Yeah. I mean, I will recommend this.
Yeah.
I would, 100%. If you're somebody who's minutely interested in the Pokemon trading card game without going all in, I think $20 is the perfect price. That's it, $20. If this was $30,
I would even say for 30, it's worth it.
yeah, for $30 I would say yes. For $40 I would have not bought it. $20 I saw on the shelf and I went, oh, $20 comes with a good amount, everything you need.
So there was 2 decks, and do you know anything about the advanced deck that was in there? We didn't use it.
No, I'd imagine it's just.
I'm curious of what that might be. Maybe that could be a mini episode in the future.
Yeah, I know it's just like a Mewtwo deck, and it might just have like a few mechanics that are different.
Yeah,
I'd imagine it can't be any different.
Because there was a rule book for the advanced section that
Yeah.
we didn't get into.
Yeah, but again, 20 if you want to learn how to play, and you have like kids. Like if you're a parent that just at one point was nostalgic for Pokemon and your kid's interested, I think this is a perfect jumping on point.
I think this is a great gateway game too because it was super easy to learn. It might not be a gateway game in the way that you traditionally think. And when we actually sat down to play, when you broke it first out, I didn't think it was just the card game. I actually thought it was something different.
Okay.
But that it was the card game, I was fine with it. It was cool.
Yeah, I'm glad to have finally played. Like I said, for all the years that I've collected cards, I never knew what to do with it.
So how long have you had that game for?
This just came out in March.
Oh, okay. So
during
it's recent.
everything. Yeah, this
is a perfect game for if you're stuck at home with one other person. You could even play yourself. You could,
I'm
but
sure there's solo rules.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
it's not. It's different.
This is definitely a competitive game you want to play with somebody.
And I was competitive. I will say that. I was.
But $20.
Cool, man.
I recommend it.
Yeah, thank you for bringing it over. Again, nothing I ever would have wanted to play before.
Yeah.
I mean that in the the best way. It just never was something I was interested in.
Yeah,
and,
it did surprise you. I could tell because you after the first game, you definitely were like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
I could tell. Because I could tell when I set it up, you're just like, "All right, like this is Pokemon," and it's not. But as soon as the first game and it all clicked, I could tell you were just like,
"Yeah,
all right, this is fine."
It clicked. And I was like, do you want to go again? And you're like, yeah. And I was like, another one? And you're like, yeah, all right, let's go. So I think 3 times was the perfect amount, for sure.
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts?
On that game? No. I think
we covered it. Artwork was good, simplicity level, and we recommended it,
yeah,
right?
It's a good jumping on game.
Yeah. All right,
so that's the end of that segment. And then we'll do our new segment, Kick It or Kickstart It. I want to talk about some of the old Kickstarters that we talked about. Paradiseopoly, which we talked about last week. Fund it.
Yeah.
It made it. I don't have all the information in front of me, but I thought that was a big deal. Unfortunately, these episodes come out.
We have, like we said before, we have lives, so we in a way bank them, so that we can release them on a bi-weekly schedule that makes it easy for us and to be a consistent podcast. I would love if my life allowed for us to meet multiple times, once a week, or play games once a week, but we can't. So we do that. So we're making you aware of Kickstarters.
Yeah. But the Paradiseopoly one, I'm proud to say, that was the one with the Paradise, California.
And they made it, right?
And they made it. Yep.
That's awesome.
Their Kickstarter worked out. The other Kickstarter I want to talk about is the X-Men United one that we talked about a few weeks ago. So we talked about Marvel United and in our first episode and how much I backed it. And X-Men United was either going on during that or about to come up.
Yeah, I think it was just getting ready to start. Yep.
So
it's over now.
Yes, it's over. But I could say that I'm in the hole. That I ended up going all in. They got me.
They got me too.
I had to talk you down.
Again, at that point, I was not a solo gamer. Still really not. But I was able to get a copy of the Guardians of the Galaxy from the first run through your order.
Yeah, so I ended up ordering it. And I didn't go all in, but I went pretty deep. And then you can add on. So one of the add-ons was some of the original Marvel United, which I didn't back everything from that one. So I texted you and I'm like, listen, like I can order the Guardians one as an add-on. Do you want it? And you said, yeah. So that's coming in, and then I'm probably $200 into the X-Men United.
You're getting a lot of stuff.
I am, absolutely. I love the Marvel United game. It's something we're going to talk about eventually.
Yeah.
But that's where I was at. In case you're wondering, like, I wonder if Brian is divorced yet. I'm close. I'm close.
No, they had a lot of cool stuff. What was the biggest reveal from?
So the biggest reveal, and I actually texted you and I said, I was like, if they don't do a Sentinel, I'll be shocked. And instead they did 3 Sentinels.
And they're big.
They're giant. So that was a big one. I think that's the one that got me. Because they did like a lot of X-Men I didn't know, and they did like Deadpool, which I was like, I like Deadpool, but it's not. And that's not the draw. So.
And Nightcrawler was a last reveal, right?
Yeah, Nightcrawler was
he's a cool character.
Yeah, but of the boxes that got me, it was the Sentinels. They did 3 Sentinels and then like a Wolverine. It's from the Days of Future Past.
Yeah, so that box was cool. What made me almost consider getting in was the Fantastic Four.
That was it. Yep. I knew you would talk about that one. Yes, for some reason, the Fantastic Four were added to the X-Men Kickstarter.
It doesn't make any really. I mean, I guess they cross over,
but
they're relatable. But
that was the last box they revealed, and that's when
which I think
they surged. They knew they're like, we're gonna reveal this last. Doctor Doom's in there.
Yeah,
it's
cool, man. Which I guess this is them also being like, we're done. Like I'm curious. Because like they could have done another leg where they in that first run they got a lot of characters. And I don't really know what's left. The Inhumans maybe. There's tons of like B characters.
I was saying I wonder.
But the Fantastic Four, I went through the whole process, had it in my cart, everything.
Yeah, I told you I have it. We can play whenever.
Yeah, that one I'm excited for.
Yeah,
but
next year.
Yeah,
so in a year we're gonna get it. So 2 other Kickstarters I want to talk about they didn't start yet. So I think that's going to be my new thing, is kind of talk about these Kickstarters that aren't started yet. So by the time this episode comes out,
you can make the decision if you want to kickstart it or kick it.
So there's 2 really cool ones. Like we'll decide if they're cool. Yeah. If you want to kickstart it, I think they're interesting. So the one is you and I are talking about maybe doing some role playing with like Dungeons and Dragons. It's something we want to present to the table eventually. So there's a cool one called Orbit Dice, and they're unnecessary, but I think they look cool. So a normal Dungeons and Dragons, you need like a D20, a D12, D4.
So I've never played Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah, so you need like these 20-sided die. So it's 1 through 20. When you roll it, you do something. It's cool. There's one called Orbit Dice, and they're orbs. They're balls. I don't know why, but I think they're cool looking. Like they're like little egg looking things.
Oh, that is cool.
And
that's really cool.
Yeah, you would.
Do they stop?
So they have a video comparing it to a normal D20. Inside the orb is the shape of almost like a Jax. Like, do you know Jax? Like
yeah.
Like the game Jax, the metal
thing.
Like
the pointy ends.
So inside is almost that shape, and there's a metal ball inside. So as it's moving, the ball's rolling around, but eventually it'll get stuck in one of those holes, and it weighs it down, stops it.
That's cool.
So they have a video comparing a regular die versus a Orby, and the Orby doesn't go as far as a die. So you would think it would roll right off the table, but it does. It's weighted down.
Yeah.
So
physics, man.
Yeah. So as of now,
what are they looking?
They're only asking for they're trying to get 18,000.
And what are they at?
Nothing. It didn't start yet.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
So to back it, I think to get like one set is like $59.
That's
I know. Again,
for
this
how
is
many?
for just one, for like a D1 for a 12. So you're getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of these.
Okay.
If you're an RPG player, this is something exciting for you. Like
it's like
it's unnecessary, but it is like cool.
It's like $7 a dice, kind of.
Yeah, I don't know what it's made of, the material and all, but they're also, some of the tiers are like different kind of design. So the one I showed you, like a red design.
The white design's cool.
The one of them is like a white dragon.
It looks like a dragon
design.
egg, yeah.
Yeah, and they have like 8 other ones they haven't revealed yet.
Which we'll post these on our Instagram so that you can see them.
But I think that's a neat.
So there's the tier. Do you just get different colors and more?
As of now, yeah.
Like if you went to the second tier, do you get the first set and the second set?
I think you just pick which one you want.
Mm.
So you pledge $59, but as they get more money and like stuff unlocks, you could pick what design you want. That's what it seems like. It hasn't started yet, like I said, but I think that's
interesting. You seem interested in it, so it seems like you're going to kickstart it.
I would love to kickstart it, but I'm not enough of an RPG player.
If
this was something that if you and I and like a group had a Dungeons and Dragons like consistent group, I would absolutely. This looks fun. Like it looks just like a neat.
My thing is, I look at it as $60.
Yeah, that's $60.
That's 2 or 3 games. That is, a PS5 game. That's how I look at things. Half of a grocery trip store bill. That's how I look at it currently.
So RP, you gotta kick it or kickstart it.
Since I would probably never use them, kick it. It's a really cool. To me, that's a cool idea.
Yeah.
It's something new, and it's innovative and creative, and it has my attention. It's just the price point.
Yeah. So if you're, if you're listening and you're a gamer,
check it out.
Yeah, it's
there would be no use for me.
No.
Like playing Villainous solo, they actually recommend using a 20-sided die, but I just used a piece of paper and kept track
and the die
of
you would
my
just
turns.
This,
that's all it is.
This you'd be trying to turn, and that ball inside might be like a. So I would alternate universe Bryan.
You would kickstart it.
That has a D&D group. I would kickstart this.
The price point. I think if it was $30 plus shipping, I could get behind that.
Okay.
But just price point and use.
Yeah.
I'm not.
Yeah, for you it's not useful. But I thought that was neat. I thought it caught, like you said, it caught my attention. They look cool. Like if you look it up, like they're definitely cool looking. All right. So another Kickstarter. Are you familiar with the Witcher franchise?
Yeah, I'd never played the game. I watched the first 3 episodes of the show.
Okay.
Just couldn't get into it.
Couldn't grab you?
Yeah. It's also mindset. I think a lot of these things are mindset. I think if I sat down and tried it again, I might. Because it's everything that I like.
Yeah.
So what's up with The Witcher?
So I like The Witcher. I enjoy it. I read the books. I love the video game. Witcher 3 is fantastic. So they have a game coming out called Witcher: The Old World. And it's a prequel set before the main guy, Geralt of Rivia.
That's awesome because anybody can play that. You can jump in.
So the story behind The Witcher is there's these different schools of monster hunters, essentially. And each school, it's hard to, I forget what the story is. So each school has, a bunch of hunters, basically. They're monster hunters that go out there. You go to a town, they pay you money, you take care of their problem for them. They're humans that get altered. They get given, these powers. They become monsters themselves, which is why it's an interesting idea. So this game is you get to pick one of, the 5 schools. There's a giant map. You move around the map, and each map has each location has its own deck of cards. So I think this one was interesting because the miniatures are beautiful, first off. They're fantastic quality miniatures. I think the neatest thing is, though, that it's almost an RPG style game.
Okay.
In a card-driven miniatures game. So from what I watched, again, the Kickstarter didn't start, but they have a YouTube video of a playthrough. And you land on a location, you draw a card, and the card has a little story on it. So it's essentially you land in a town, and they have a whatever problem, a monster problem, and then it gives you options on the card what to do.
And you have to pay a certain amount, or you get a reward.
And what you do depends on how the game goes. So the one example they kind of gave was the merchant in a town you were interacting with, and you chose to either rob them or help them.
Okay.
So you could like take coin or
Help them out.
the adventure continues. Like, so it's kind of like that. And I thought that was interesting. Like,
I do like that. That's cool.
Yeah, I like a choose your own adventure type style. The other things you could do is you could fight other people. Like, I could run into you, and it's called like a brawl, essentially. Like, it's a card driven
Fight.
brawl. Yeah, it's almost like a deck builder where you're kind of buying items for your deck because your deck is like your health. I think it was just, it caught my eye because it's The Witcher, and I think the mechanics of it is like super interesting. There's no buy-in yet, again, because the Kickstarter didn't start, but it's one that I think if you're a fan of the IP, I think you should check out. Witcher: The Old World.
And how much?
Again, it doesn't have a price point yet. I would imagine
probably
with the miniatures it has to be like 60, 80, but with how we talked about Kickstarter before,
probably more
it's
stuff.
going to have a bunch of figures attached to it with the Kickstarter.
Is this something that you're going to kickstart?
I'm going to keep an eye on it. This is something...
It's definitely interests me, and I would say this one over the dice. Again, it's IP I don't know.
Yeah.
If it was IP I knew, I'd probably be more jonesed for it. But that sounds really cool and probably worth the money.
If I had to guess, I would say 60 to 80 for base game.
Okay. Yeah. For that, if I started to like the IP, yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's why I didn't know your familiarity with the IP.
Yeah,
but
nothing.
It's something I'm excited for, so it definitely caught my attention.
Cool.
So yeah, I may kickstart that unless you're my wife listening. I will not be kickstarting.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, I'll talk about it as it kind of progresses, but I thought it was something interesting to talk about.
Yeah, no, that's cool. I like this segment that we do.
Yeah, it just kind of branches out.
And on to our final segment.
Yeah, you ready to fight? Alright, so Superfight is a game we kind of end the show on. It's by Skybound Games. It's just a card game where you argue, pretty much. That's it. Like, you draw players. Like, what the white cards represent characters, and then you draw two black cards, which are either an advantage or a disadvantage they have, and then you just decide who would win. You kind of argue with the group who would win. That's really it. Like,
how has our projection gone versus what our audience projection on Instagram? Like, have we been right or have they gone against us?
Yeah, they pretty much are with us.
Okay,
most of the times. Yeah, so that's the other thing is we put it on our Instagram stories. What we talk about, so you can kind of argue with us. Yeah, and it seems like the majority is pretty much with us.
Cool. All right, so what do we have today?
All right, so today let's draw. We have Abraham Lincoln. We all know who that is. Abraham Lincoln, top tall hat.
Founding
versus
father.
a Velociraptor.
Wow. All right, so we got
Abraham Lincoln versus a Velociraptor. All right, so without powers, who wins?
The Velociraptor.
Yeah, obviously Velociraptor. Yeah. So let's see what happens when we draw.
I've seen Jurassic World. I know how this goes.
Our two cards. So Abraham Lincoln shoots laughing gas and has laser eyes.
Wow.
The Velociraptor is wearing sharpened stilettos and has a hostage.
Oh my God, Abraham Lincoln! It's game over. First off, the stilettos are going to throw the raptor off balance because they're already...
And he already has, like, claws.
Yeah,
so sharpened stilettos aren't really an advantage.
It's high heels, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's already going to be, like, leaning even more forward. And then he has who cares? Eat the hostage. Whatever. Abraham Lincoln is shooting laughing gas, so throwing the already off-balance raptor off balance even more.
And has laser eyes.
And has laser eyes.
Yeah.
Anytime he comes near, just dead.
Yeah, I mean...
I kind of monopolized that conversation. I'm sorry. But...
No, but sometimes I'll try to figure out the entire time, like, how can I have the raptor win? But no, I don't think...
The only way would be if the raptor negotiated a hostage, yes. But...
He really wanted to save the hostage.
Yeah, but the raptor can't understand us.
Yeah, I don't know. That was another one that...
I think this one's a bust.
Yeah.
I think Abraham Lincoln wins big time. Also, Abraham Lincoln with laser eyes would be incredible.
And laughing gas.
And laughing gas, yeah.
There's always one power. You're like, what is the point of this? But
I guess that's part of it. You need to laugh more.
Yeah. Raptor can't laugh. I don't think.
Yeah.
So that was it.
I would like to see that, though, a raptor laugh.
Well, with the way these Jurassic Park movies are going, who knows the next one they might be laughing.
who knows?
They're already friends.
They're going to be a crossover with DC, and it's going to be the laughing, the
Joker,
the Velociraptor that laughs.
All right, well, that's it. Another solid episode.
Yeah, it was good. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember to rate, like, and subscribe. Please leave us a review. If you really like what you heard today, head over to Apple Podcast and leave us a review. Leave us, 5 stars. But if you didn't like what we did, then put it in that. But leave it at 5 stars. It really, really helps, and we'd like to hear your feedback too. If you want to leave it on our social media pages as well. Yeah,
if you skip the Kickstart moment or your super fight, let us know. I mean, we can find something else to do. It's just if we enjoy it. But
if you think there's a mechanic or something that we're missing in our discussion of the game, let us know. We really want to hear from you guys.
Or you want me to kick RP off the show? 5 stars, let us know.
Yeah, if you want it to be a solo show, just let me know.
Just me talking myself into the void. But,
all right, well, thanks for listening, and have a great day.
Yeah, thanks.
Wake up,